We're in book 3. We're in book 3. See? Book 3. We're in book 3. Okay? Part 1, Story 1, Two Naughty Boys. Now, we do have a nice, pretty painting by Russell Harlan. And this is what it looks like. If I can get the... There it goes. Without the glare on it. That's what it is. And it has a caption. Aaron, assisted by his 4 sons, was ordained high priest to serve the people of their God in their journey towards the promised land. He won, his wonderful garment were most gorgeous to behold. Yeah, you think about it. 12 stones, onyx on his shoulders, and a gold crown on his head that says holiness to God that flashes. And interesting. Okay, part 1, story 1, Two Naughty Boys. After all that happened that day in front of the tabernacle, when Aaron and his sons were consecrated to the priesthood, you would surely think that those 4 boys would be the last ones in the camp to get in trouble. Had not Moses himself washed them in front of everybody? Had not he put them those beautiful clean clothes? Had not they all laid their hands upon a bull, and the 2 rams, confessing their sins? Had not the blood been placed on their ear, their thumb, and their right toes? And yes, indeed, and they couldn't have gone through all this without knowing what it meant. And if they forgot, even for a moment, every time they looked at their father, there were the words, holiness to the Lord. They knew all right. They understood. Moses couldn't make it more plain that God wanted them to be the best people, the best young people in the camp, an example to all the boys and girls who had come out of Egypt. Of course, we go to the next page. And these haven't been, it's been years since they've been open. Okay. Ooh, and I do got a tear. Aww. Oh, so sad, but it's not like the other one. Now, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Itamar was given a very wonderful opportunity. And more you think about it, the more you see how big it really was and how much God expected from them. They were to be the spiritual leaders of the youth of Israel, young men of such spotless character and noble living that all the boys and girls would look up to them and want to follow in their footsteps. And what did they do? 2 of them got drunk. Right after the ceremony of consecration, too. And within a few days of it. Where they found the drink, I don't know. Somebody in camp may have had a wine press. But where did they get the grapes? Somebody may have had a whiskey still. But where did they get the grain? Perhaps the liquor had been brought from Egypt from one of the mixed multitudes, but one hardly likes to think it was smuggled through the Red Sea on a night of, of the great deliverance. All we know for certain is that there was alcohol of some kind in the camp, and Nahab and Abihu drank it. They should have known better. Of all the people, they should never had done such a thing. For anyone else, it would have been a serious mistake. But for them who had been set apart as ministers of God, it was a terrible sin. Yeah, that's kind of hurtful right now. But let me get back to the story. Okay? It could have been that these two boys, they really were grown men, had did not care very much about being chosen to work in the sanctuary. Perhaps they didn't want to be priests at all. Maybe they went through all the long consecration ceremony just because their father and uncle told them to. Certainly, the washing Moses gave them did not cleanse their hearts, nor the blood on their toes kept them from walking into places where drink was sold. But the sin of drinking was was as nothing to the crime that the drink made them commit. Under the influence of liquor, they made fun of their sacred duties. Jokingly, they asked each other why they had to light their censers with the golden altar of incense in the tabernacle. Why couldn't they just light them the way they pleased, any way they pleased? What difference could it make if they put fire in from their censers themselves? Yeah, they had to have a special fire to be put in there. But they said, why can't I do this? Basically, that's a little wind up what they said. Alright, let me get back to the story. So Nahab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, took either of them his censer, and put fire therein, and put incense therein, and offered strange fire before the Lord, which he commanded them not to do. The two boys, really men, may even had walked unsteadily through the tabernacle, swinging their censers irreverently, with no thought of the sacred meaning of what they were supposed to be doing. They shall we shall never know exactly what they did, but God was very displeased with them. Not only had they disobeyed him, but they had made light of holy sacred things. Though he had trusted and honored them above all the young people in the camp, they had failed him. For such a deed they had to be punished. God could not let disobedience and insolence of this sort go unrebuked. Funny words. And so it happened that as Nadab and Abihu were staggering around in the tabernacle with strange fire, their censers, there came a flash of light from the mercy seat, there came a light from the mercy seat. So pretty much what I'm imagining in my head is if you watch Indiana Jones, basically what happened on Indiana Jones. And this is the illustration that they got. They're just swinging their little cancers back and forth, back and forth. And we do have some that actually still do that. Some things. Okay. In their sensors, there came a flash of light from the mercy seat where no mercy was possible. Yeah, this was there. No mercy was possible, and the poor foolish boys, men, were suddenly burned to death. And there went out fire from the Lord and devoured them, and they died before the Lord. The shocking news soon spread throughout the camp. People were stunned to think that two of those who had just been consecrated to the priesthood should so soon have been proved unfaithful. Because they were Aaron's sons, everybody expected there would be a big funeral. But there was none. Moses would not allow it. Instead, he told two old men to carry the bodies out of camp and bury them. There was to be no mourning for two such naughty men. It says boys, but I want to say men because they were older. Even Aaron was told he must not weep for them. So he couldn't even cry for his own son. Ooh. It must have seemed very hard to Aaron. Not only had he lost his two sons, but he wasn't allowed to cry over them, as any father would want to do. Then it was that the Lord spoke to him and said, "Do not drink wine nor strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when ye go to the tabernacle for consecrate of the congregation, lest ye die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generation, that ye may put difference between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean." Oh, King James. Basically, it's show the difference. Now, Aaron understood drink had robbed him of his sons. Drink had confused their brains so that they couldn't see any difference between holy and unholy. Drink had led them into an awful folly and brought upon them the swift judgment of God. And yeah, there's a reason why it's hurting a little bit. Alright, and down at the bottom has an illustration. This is for kids. They cleaned it up. But some of y'all have seen horror shows. I know that. Shame on you. Alright, that was part 1, story 1, and volume 3. See, I can do 3 on this hand. I can't do it too good on this one. Alright, we'll go to the next one in just a sec.